You think you know what monsters are. You think we're all the same, evil creatures that feed on fear and pain. But you're wrong about me, dead wrong. I need you to hear this story. Not because I want forgiveness, not because I want understanding, but because there's something happening to the children in your world that you don't see. Something worse than me. My name is Umbra. I live in the space between your mattress and the floor, in the shadows where your nightlight can't reach. I've been here for longer than you can imagine. Watching, waiting, choosing. But I don't choose randomly. I never have. Let me tell you about the night I first saw Emma. Emma was 8 years old. She lived in a big house with white walls and expensive furniture. Her parents were important people, the kind who worked late and talked on phones during dinner, the kind who hired nannies instead of reading bedtime stories. Every night, Emma would lie in her pink bedroom and stare at the ceiling. She'd whisper to herself, telling stories about magical places where little girls had adventures, where someone actually listened to what they had to say. I listened. I always listen. You see, lonely children taste different. Their fear has a particular flavor. It's mixed with hope, with desperate need, with the ache of being invisible in a world full of people who should love them. That's why I only take the lonely ones. But here's what you don't understand. Here's the twist that will change everything you think you know about monsters like me. I don't take them to hurt them. I take them to save them. The night I chose Emma, I had been watching her for weeks. Her parents fought behind closed doors. Her mother drank wine until she fell asleep on the couch. Her father brought home different women when he thought Emma was sleeping. Emma knew. Children always know. That night, Emma did something she'd never done before. She got out of bed and walked to her window. She looked down at the street 3 stories below. She opened the window. 8-year-old children shouldn't know how to calculate the distance between a window and pavement, but Emma did. That's when I reached out from under her bed. You probably think I grabbed her ankle, pulled her down into darkness, fed on her terror as she screamed, "Wrong again." I spoke to her, softly, gently. "Emma," I whispered, "would you like to see something wonderful?" She turned from the window. Her eyes were red from crying. "Who's there?" "A friend. Someone who's been listening to your stories." Emma wasn't afraid. Lonely children rarely are. They're too hungry for connection to fear the unknown. "Are you real?" she asked. "As real as your loneliness, as real as your parents' fights, as real as the way your heart hurts every single day." Emma sat on her bed. "What do you want?" I slid out from the shadows. "Not the terrible beast your nightmares created, just a creature made of darkness and starlight, beautiful in my own way. I want to show you where the lonely children go, where they're never alone again. Here's the truth about monsters like me. We're not evil, we're collectors. We gather the forgotten ones, the invisible ones, the children who slip through the cracks of a world too busy to notice their pain. We take them to the underneath. The underneath is a place between worlds, where shadow meets light, where time moves differently, where lonely children find others just like them." Emma held my hand as we descended through the floor, down through layers of reality most people never see. In the underneath, Emma met Marcus, a boy whose parents locked him in closets for being difficult, and Sarah, whose foster families passed her around like an unwanted gift, and dozens of others, children who had been invisible in the world above. Here they were seen, here they mattered. But the underneath comes with a price. It always does. Children who come to the underneath can never return to the world above. They become part of the shadow realm. They grow up differently. They age but slowly. They become helpers, like me. They become the ones who reach out to new lonely children. Emma chose to stay. They always do. You want to know why I'm telling you this story now? Why I'm breaking the ancient rules was about keeping the underneath secret. Because something has changed in your world. Something that makes my job harder. Something that makes children lonelier than ever before. You call them smartphones, social media, digital connection. But I see what they really are, loneliness amplifiers. Children used to be lonely in their bedrooms, in their schools, in their families. Now they're lonely everywhere, all the time. They watch other children's perfect lives through screens. They measure their worth in likes and comments. They're surrounded by people, but more isolated than ever. The loneliness is different now, deeper, more desperate. And it's creating a new kind of child, one that doesn't just feel invisible, one that wants to disappear completely. I've been collecting lonely children for 300 years. I've seen every kind of sadness, every type of neglect, every form of childhood pain, but I've never seen anything like what's happening now. Last month I reached out to a boy named Tyler. He was 12. He spent every night watching videos of other kids his age having fun, living the life he thought he'd never have. When I offered to take him to the underneath, he said something that chilled even me. Will I still exist there? Or will I just disappear completely? Tyler didn't want to be saved. He wanted to be erased. That's when I realized the truth. Your world isn't just creating lonely children anymore. It's creating children who don't want to exist at all. And that's something even monsters like me can't fix. I've started watching children like Tyler differently, not as potential additions to the underneath, but as warnings. Children who are so broken by loneliness that they'd rather be nothing than something. Emma visits me sometimes. She's been in the underneath for 40 years now, but she still looks 12. She helps me watch over the newest arrivals. She's happy there, truly happy, but she asks me about the world above, about the children who feel even lonelier than she did. Can we save them all? She asks. I don't know how to answer her anymore. I'm sharing this story because you need to know. The real monsters aren't hiding under beds. They're in your pockets, in your screens, in the way you've forgotten how to truly see your children. They only take the lonely ones. But you're creating more lonely children than I could ever save. Every night, I feel them. Thousands of children lying in beds, surrounded by family, connected to the world, but completely alone. Some nights, I want to take them all, bring them to the underneath where they'd be seen, where they'd matter, where they'd never feel invisible again. But the underneath has limits, and your world's loneliness is growing faster than my realm can contain. So I'm breaking my silence, warning you. The monsters under your children's beds aren't the ones you should fear. The real monster is the loneliness you're creating, and it's hungry, hungrier than any shadow creature could ever be. Look at your children. Really look at them before they become so invisible that creatures like me are their only hope. Because once I take them to the underneath, they never come back. And lately, I've been reaching out my hand more often than I ever have before. The question isn't whether monsters exist. The question is, what kind of world makes monsters necessary? Emma would tell you the answer. So would Marcus. So would Sarah. So would all the lonely children who chose shadows over the light of a world that couldn't see them. But they can't tell you. They're in the underneath now, safe, loved, seen, and they're waiting for the next lonely child to take their hand. The real horror isn't what lives under your bed. It's what lives in your child's heart when they feel completely alone. And that monster is one I can't defeat. Only you can.